No more than I bargained for. Out of my. Oh, wow. Do you think the audio is working? Maybe so. Don't know. And the cameras are on. Well, technical difficulties. Hate when that happens. Go ahead and start then. All right, I'll call to order this Pleasant View City Council this Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. It's 6:02, it looks like, ish. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, opening prayer, reading, or expression of thought. Thank Councilmember Nelson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our dear Father in heaven, we're grateful for the opportunity to be gathered here today as members of this great city. We're grateful for the opportunity we have to live in these mountains, this beautiful area, and this wonderful city, state, and country we live in. We ask you to please bless thy spirit might be with us. Please bless our first responders and those that work to keep our city safe. And we say things in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Phil. Item 1B is declaration of conflicts of interest. If you had a chance to review the agenda, are there any conflicts to declare?
Mayor, I have a conflict. I grabbed the wrong agenda out of my car. I had two. I'm just gonna excuse myself for a minute.
Go get
the right one.
All right. Item 1C is public comments, questions for the mayor or council. Does anybody wish to address the mayor or the council? Limit 3 minutes. Seeing none, we'll move to 2. Consent items, minutes of March 18th, 2025, April 8th, 2025, both open and closed, April 10th, 2025, and April 22nd, 2025. Any changes, corrections?
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent items.
Oh, sorry, and bills.
And bills. Okay, yeah,
Okay,
including that.
sorry. Okay, motion to approve the consent items by Arrington, second by Nelson. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, under item 3, award recognition. Recognition of Kennedy Lynn and Alex Johnson as the U City Council's 2024-2025 scholarship recipients. Turn it over to Councilmember Yuri and Cindy Harrison. He's in the back row there.
We are really excited to present Kennedy and Alex's parents. In lieu of Alex being here, he has a state soccer game today. And so he couldn't miss one of the star players. We can't let Weber lose, you know. So anyway, we're going to start with Kennedy real quick. And let me just pull this up real quick. There's a few things that we wanted to say. Okay, so Kennedy Lynn, just to tell you a little bit about Kennedy. She's the second oldest of 6 kids. Her family is originally from Wyoming, and it's still in her blood. I'd like to know what that means. Are you wild and free? You're just frontier lady? Okay. She moved to Utah when she was 7, when she attended Maria Montessori Academy, Orion Junior High, and Weber High School. She enjoyed playing rec softball, competition dance, and National Academic League when she was younger. In high school, she was inducted into the National Honor Society and was a vice president for it this year. She helped collect for quarters and cans each year and was a Warrior of the Month last year. How much did they collect this year for quarters? Isn't that crazy? That's so awesome. One of her biggest accomplishments was being involved in DECA and FBLA for all 3 years of high school, where she was a competition and career development vice president. She was also a regional champion, state champion, and an international competitor in places like Anaheim and Orlando. When she was 14, she joined Pleasant View's Youth City Council and has been an active member for 4 years. She enjoyed being able to meet the local government officials and learn how the city runs. She appreciated how it's helped her have more of a sense of community. Her favorite seasonal activity has been Founder's Day Parade and park activities.
Go.
When she's not busy with all of those things, she enjoys reading, playing the piano, baking desserts, and decorating cakes, and hanging out with friends. And Kennedy will be graduating from Weber next week with high honors, and she will be attending Utah State University on a presidential scholarship where she'll be working towards a degree in business management. And just offer a couple extra things about Kennedy. It's been an absolute joy working with her. Seems really, really weird to not have Kennedy or Haley with us this next year, but luckily we have their brother. And more people coming on up. But hey, Kennedy's been an absolute joy, and she's always participating, first to show up, one of the last to leave, and just an absolute asset to our community. Cindy, do you want to add anything, or we'll just present this with that? Okay. So Kennedy Lynn, if you'd like to come up, we would like to present you with Pleasant View City Youth City Council Scholarship for 2024-25.
Now Cindy needs to come up.
Well, let's first get Kennedy's family up here. And then we'll okay. Well, okay. Make sure you answer the color girl.
We got a softball game to get to.
Oh, he's beautiful.
There we go.
Okay, let me know when he's on.
All right.
We have one more.
Alex Johnson.
Okay.
Sorry. Two birds with one stone.
Oh, there you go. Now he can get his check. Because now she can see him in his passport.
You guys are oh, it's a virtual.
Yes. Woohoo.
Okay. Congratulations.
Okay, congratulations, Alex. Okay, we'll just tell you a few things about Alex. Okay, our second candidate and recipient for the scholarship is Alex Johnson. And he is a dedicated student athlete, obviously, and leader in both his school and community. A standout on the field, Alex serves as the varsity football kicker and is also a member of the varsity soccer team, which is playing in a state championship today. He has earned recognition as Special Teams MVP and Warrior Athlete of the Month for his performance and commitments to his teams. Academically, Alex has maintained high honor roll status, demonstrating a strong work ethic and commitment to excellence in the classroom. He's also shown exceptional leadership as a 2-year president of the Interact Rotary Club and organizing service projects and promoting community involvement. In addition, Alex has been an active member of the Youth City Council for 4 years, representing his peers and participating in civic leadership initiatives. As the youngest of four boys, Alex has grown up inspired by his older brothers, but has forged his own path through service, leadership, and athletic achievement. The scholarship recognizes his well-rounded accomplishments and promising future. And yes, absolutely, Alex has been a strong part of the U City Council for the last 4 years, and it's been an absolute joy having all the Johnson boys and also Alex be a part of it. And that will be really strange too, to not have another Johnson with us, so.
You're next.
Yes, but we would like to recognize Alex Johnson as our U City Council 2024-25 scholarship recipient. Hey, Alex. And accepting on his behalf,
Space so they can. call it-
there you go. We'll just put it right there, but we
Thank
would
you.
like you to come up. and
The
take a picture
championship
with
is
you.
tonight?
No. Playoff.
Oh, playoffs. Pardon me,
Okay, I was-
playoff,
I
not
thought they were
championship.
in championship. Yeah, okay. Did you hear at Weaver?
Yeah.
That's fun.
So why don't we just all come down? And Laura, did you have that already to just since, was it ready to go? Oh, well, no, I don't, but that's right. Okay. Leave it right here. Let's leave it right.
Yeah, leave it spot. Yeah, we'll follow it down.
Hey, have fun at the game.
This is to qualify for stage. Okay.
By the way, they fall on the ground and like roll around and cry and professionals, I would think they would stop it.
Professional soccer.
It's just a professional.
Thanks. Okay, item 4, vacate utility drainage easement. 4A, discussion and consideration to vacate a public utility and drainage easement that runs in the rear property line at 3581 North, 500 West, Resolution 2025-C. Do we want to take these one at a time?
No.
No. And B is discussion and consideration to vacate a public utility and drainage easement that runs in the rear property line at 3060 North, 825 West, Resolution 2025-D. Andrea.
Okay, so both of these went to the planning commission to vacate the public utility easements on the rear of their properties in order to accommodate an accessory building. The planning commission reviewed them. They had letters from the appropriate utility companies and the planning commission approved them.
Any questions?
Why are we vacating them?
They're just the unused utility easements that they standardly put on the rear of the properties. And none of the utility companies want to or have any lines in those utility easements. So they've all signed off on not needing to use
I
them
think
in the
one
future.
or both want to build a shed or.
Yeah, both of them want to build a shed.
Got all the necessary documentation. I think we should take them one at a time because they do require a roll call vote, so.
Mayor, I make a motion that we vacate the utility easement at 3581 North, 500 West, Resolution 2025-C.
Have a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Arrington, second by Yuri, roll call vote. Arrington,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Marriott,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Yuri,
Yes.
motion carries, all voting yes.
Mayor, I make a motion that we vacate the utility drainage easement at 3060 North, 825 West, which is Resolution 2025-D.
Have a motion to have a second.
I'll second that motion.
A motion by Arrington, second by Yuri, roll call vote. Arrington,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Marriott. Yes. Nelson,
Yes.
Yuri,
Yes.
motion carries, all voting yes. Thank you. Item 5, local transportation funding agreements with Weaver County. 5A, discussion and possible action to approve a local transportation funding agreement with Weaver County for the Skyline Drive Rail Crossing Corridor Preservation in the amount of $2,052,000 for the 2026 calendar year with a match from the city. Do we want to do these together? Let's do them separately.
Okay,
Andrea.
so this is the WACOG funding for obviously the Skyline Drive rail crossing corridor. This is only for the piece of property that is directly adjacent to the rail crossing. So it's in order to acquire that property, in order to make the S curve along there and eventually cross over the rail crossing. This doesn't cover any construction of that road. It's proper, or it's for the property acquisition and the railroad right of way.
And then we need to match those funds from the city.
Yeah, approximately 10%. Yep.
Oh, okay, that was my question of
Yeah.
when it says matching funds, 10% of the 2 million,
Yes.
so 200,000.
So
I believe they had it in the application as 250.
250,000.
Questions?
Oh, and that's just the right of ways, that's not additional property at all, right?
No, it is additional property. It's the piece of, there's a partial take on two separate properties and then a full take on another piece of property. So there are 3 separate parcels involved.
So this is just for acquisition, not construction or anything like you mentioned.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Just acquisition.
Yep. Hello.
Here, we're hiding here. Did I-
Is that gonna,
You did.
is that gonna, occur in 2026 then, or is it?
Yeah, the funding has to be used in 2026.
So it could be used prior to that, right? Immediately, as soon as we,
I think we can start with this now. I think they gave us the go ahead, and we only have a few expenditures that we've done so far. But it's for all
to
that.
acquire the property.
Does this go over and eventually, trying to figure out where this road goes, I can see across 59, get that property across the railroad. And then
It'll
does that-
connect to the north part of all that industrial that Bailey / Boyer.
The Rutland White.
And yeah,
And where the main traffic flow would go that way, or is this like a,
well, I think ultimately the concept is to go to interchange, but we're gonna
Got
be
it.
down years down the road for that.
yeah, but towards the, okay.
It would be the only north
It's the way to,
access to that property. The other access is off 2700. So that's
Yeah.
the only railroad crossing in that
Yeah,
whole.
But eventually Skyline, we want to connect up by Smith and Edwards, right?
No, it would connect up with this street.
yeah, but eventually it's
Yeah.
designed on the,
Should
yeah,
connect. to-
but I don't know.
We're not gonna funnel all the traffic back to 2700.
No,
Okay.
No,
it's
Sorry, I was
supposed to
just-
be a
This was
through.
confused.
It's more, I would imagine in the next 20 years, it'll be more the Rulon White traffic in there using it to
Yeah.
get out and go up
Get
on the
out.
freeway.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I just didn't understand the process.
They're gonna have to do something like that.
Okay. I guess we could either entertain a motion on that, or it's not a resolution, it's just agreement, so.
Approving the transportation funding agreement.
Mhm.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve a local transportation funding agreement with Weaver County for the Skyline Drive Rail Crossing Corridor Preservation in the amount up to $2,052,000 for the 2026 calendar year, with a match from the city.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion by Yuri. Second by Marriott. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5B, discussion of possible action to approve a local transportation funding agreement with Weaver County for the Alberta Drive corridor preservation in the amount of $965,000 for the 2026 calendar year with a match from the city. Andrea?
Okay, so this is also WACOG funding, and this runs from 600 west to approximately 200 west to the city limits. And it's in order to acquire properties along there and to make the road match up to what North Ogden's got with the bike lane on the along the road.
That'll be interesting, because there's some properties really close to the road.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But it's one of those things we gotta get started, else we'll never get it done, and Cog was kind enough to give us almost $1 million to get property, so.
So was this just to widen the road? Is there any consideration on any of the intersection changes or anything like that? Or who's doing the design work of?
Like which intersection?
Well, just the 600 West intersection there, coming off of the roundabout. I really, now that we don't have truck traffic coming off of the mountain anymore, I'd like to make that a through street, so there's no stop sign there anymore. But have a right turn off of 600 onto Alberta, just like we do on 1000 West, where it has a turning lane that turn into that.
So what would you do with the northbound traffic?
North,
600.
northbound well, they could go any direction, but they would normally turn onto Alberta to go up 500 West, typically right here, right? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, would you make them stop then?
You would, the southbound traffic would have to stop. The northbound traffic would have to stop as well, like 1000.
Is the hill.
Yeah, and
the
this,
snow.
and
That's why
That's
all the teenagers going to the high school.
that's why we made it,
That's-
stopping on Pleasant View Drive, or Alberta.
That's why though, if you make a turning lane, that you would be able to do that just like 1000 and have, that's the reason why I'm saying that this is a good time. If we're actually preserving corridor along that road, I mean, it would take a little bit more along that intersection. It's available there, but I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Is this time to talk about that, or is that something in that
Well, it
another
would be,
discussion,
it would
obviously?
be a different, I mean,
Is this what's been submitted to
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
funding, so you'd have to resubmit the design?
well, we'd have to either ask for more thing. I mean, there's a lot of options we could look at there. We could even put another roundabout in there so nobody stops. It just, I mean, there's
I just think the traffic flow is not, it has never been that great since we put the roundabout in and on Alberta. It's just, to me, it's you're stopping traffic and,
The roundabout on Alberta, I mean, further down. I mean,
no, I'm
you're-
saying, once that roundabout came in now, then we put 2 stop signs in it to stop everything, and we got traffic flow
You
east and
come,
west.
you come up 700, I mean, are you talking 600, or you talking
I'm
700?
talking 600 right here, right? That's,
Well, the roundabout's another,
right, I'm saying, if you got stop signs coming off of the roundabout on both directions, and you probably need it on Pleasant View Drive and leave it alone, but I'm saying you could change Alberta so that that is a through street, because the truck traffic doesn't exist anymore.
I mean, if you made it, I could agree with you if you made it a true roundabout, but I don't think it'd be, because you can't, I mean, that's what the argument was before, because I hated stopping Pleasant View Drive,
I agree, yeah.
but it's the snow, it's coming down the road, sliding through a stop sign.
And also coming up that.
And coming up that.
And having to,
Having to stop.
And it
having
had
to
to
stop
get
and
going
keep
was
going.
the problem, because, I mean, I hated,
I mean, it can all be explored, but it's really would not fit in it.
but you know, roundabout would be really nice on Alberta and 600.
It's the funding part.
Yeah, I don't think you have enough room on either. of them.
so, Mary, you just said this is just the funding part, but we can have those discussions
Oh, yeah.
after that. Okay.
Yeah.
I like where Dave's head is though, like even if you know how you come off the freeway and you can just go right, like you don't have to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like something like that, even as you're coming up 600.
Well, you can now.
High school kids are
You
going,
don't have to stop at the top, you can keep, you can just go right up and turn right.
Are you talking
but
about
it's
like?
really hard to get
What's on 1000?
east though,
How you have that
with
forced
all
right
of
turn.
that traffic.
It's hard to get east from the west
Yeah.
side coming
Yeah.
up.
The same as,
So-
same as 1000.
Like at the top of 1000 where you have the
All right,
forced right
let's,
turn. That's
Anyway.
We should talk about that in the future, because that's really not on the agenda. so.
Okay, so this is just for funding,
Yeah, and just so you know, the match on that is 108.
108,000?
Yes.
Okay,
And what, apologize, I was trying to pull up my agenda, and I finally got it. But what is this for? I mean, because Alberta is so narrow there, which side are we gonna take over, the east? or
It's
the
showing
west?
both on, it's showing
Say,
both.
no curb, no sidewalk, right?
So from what I looked at, it looked like it's about a 2-foot property acquisition on the north side and then a 33 plus a 2 on the south
so I
side.
was gonna say the south side, there's not much property to take.
There's a
Right.
lot, no, there's a lot on the south side.
Well, like where the
There-
houses are,
But it's
like
still,
that old Pioneer house, there's not a lot of property before they get the road.
And then
Where
north
the
is-
grandma's closet is?
No,
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 that's
no,
not
no,
Alberta.
I'm talking, You're talking about from 600 towards the
Alberta.
North Ogden.
Oh.
So you've got houses that are just
Oh,
bordering.
you're just talking a couple of these right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you've got some houses fairly close to the Alberta.
Yeah, and it's matching your transportation plan, and that was the buy-in from North Ogden is trying to connect your bike routes safely, and
Are
so that
you-
was part of this evaluation, and it's been on our alternative plan for projects for quite a few years now.
Are you updating infrastructure at the same time, like?
This is
water
just for
lines
the
and just
right
for
away,
the-
Just get the right of way.
Okay,
no construction.
So is that a 10-year plan, 20-year plan? or
Well,
what
It's
is
gonna have
that?
to be dependent on
Money.
funding, maybe even
Money.
a year or two, we can get some more funding to actually build it from like.
Now that we've freed up the pickleball crew, we need to put them on the road. Skyline Drive.
Redirect their efforts
You can get benches all along Skyline Drive, for
with
a couple $1,000 each.
Sorry, Mayor.
With donations.
okay. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve a local transportation funding agreement with Weaver County for the Alberta Drive Corridor Preservation in the amount up to $965,000 for the 2026 calendar year with a match from the city.
Where's that match coming from? What budget? The road fund?
The road fund, the match is, what did you say?
108,000.
108?
Yes.
Yes.
108.
And obviously we have this money.
Mhm.
so Lori didn't seem
And we do
stressed.
for the previous one as well.
I'll second that. Mayor.
A motion by Yuri, second by Gibson, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, salary for the Justice Court Judge. Set the salary for the Justice Court Judge to $36,834 for the fiscal year 2025-26 in accordance with the salary schedule and requirements outlined by the state of Utah. Andrea?
So every year, the Administrative Office of the Courts does a evaluation of what percentage of a full-time district court judge our justice court judge is handling for our city. The legislature did approve a cost of living increase of 2.5% and put our judge at a 0.24 or 24% of a full-time district court judge. So the salary range, or the salary that we've put on for approval is at the bottom end of the range, which still gives him a good increase over last year
And still meets the
and still meets
Requirements
the
that they-
requirements. Yep.
questions? Not an entertained motion?
I'd like to make a motion to set the salary for Justice Court Judge to $36,834 for the fiscal year of 2025-26.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Yuri, second by Marriott, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 7 is budget workshop. Laurie?
Woo-hoo.
That's 10
Oh, sorry. Okay.
and then 11.
We all have your budget. Our new best friend. Our new best friend. So if you want to turn to page 35.
35?
That's just starting with the budget message and kind of some highlights. And then we'll go through more details. Go on. So basically tonight, we're doing the first budget workshop, and we do have to adopt the tentative budget tonight. And once we adopt the tentative budget, we'll use it as the beginning, starting point of the budget. And it will be available to the public. The goal is to adopt it before June 30th. But we would like to maybe adopt it at the June 10th city council meeting if possible. If you guys decide to do a truth and taxation, we'll have to have that completed before September 1st. So the first is in the general fund. Just so you know, on the purchasing policy, if things are in the budget, they're listed out, we do not have to come to the city council to ask to go out to bid. But we'll still have to come back and ask you guys if we can purchase it. So if it's in here, we're just going to go out to bid, and then we'll bring back the findings to you guys. So the fund balance for our rainy day fund is a I'm just gonna kind of round these numbers. You got the numbers in front of you. Is a $1.1 million, and it's a 15.94% of that fund balance limit that we can have. We can have up to 35%, and that's a 2.4 million. So we're short about $1.3 million if we want to go right up to 35%.
Excuse me. Goodness, that time of year.
And included in this in the property taxes, I do not have valuations from the state or the county yet. And so I just have total guesses on what the valuation is, what the tax rate would be. But my guesses do not include a tax increase or even keeping the tax rate the same.
And that
So-
won't be available to
For
probably
property.
The first
Thursday,
week of
Friday before June, before.
Yeah.
Friday, yeah.
And so at your May 27th meeting, we're actually gonna have it on the agenda to see if you guys want to do a truth in taxation. Because I have to let the county know by June 1st, which seems odd that we don't even have the numbers yet. So be thinking if you guys want to do a truth in taxation public hearing, and then we'll have to let them know that we are anticipating it.
Well, if it's based on wants, I don't want to.
Do we need
So that's,
Yeah.
As we
Keep-
go
keep going,
through it,
we'll
you
go.
guys can
Yeah.
kind of look and see,
Yeah.
you know, if you feel like you want to do it, but it will be on the May 27th.
So just to clarify, what we're waiting for from the county is property taxes. You already have the sales revenue yet.
Yeah, I have the sales revenue, property tax, I have no valuations, I have nothing from them.
So
It's
you
just totally
just use
guess.
this previous year's data?
What?
You just use the previous year's data then for that, or?
Yeah, and then I kind of guess what the property valuations would be, just kind of historically what we've done, but it's weird too, because we've had so much growth.
Yeah.
With new commercial, that it's even kind of hard to guess, but I made a guess, and it's in there.
And that should
And
count
she's,
on that
she's like
commercial
pretty
part.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And on the sales tax revenue, history this year, it is declining. So what we had anticipated last year, I'm actually, for the year we're in right now, a 2.8% decline in revenue. For the year we're in right now, of what we budgeted.
Which
I
is
am a little
in the
bit,
county, pretty strong still compared to everybody else. Their mayors are like really panicking because they're like 10, 15, 20% down. No, but not sure why.
and that, the 2.8 is based on what? So what I estimated last year is, and it's in the budget, we're down 2.8% of what we're actually gonna maybe bring in this year, this current year.
So it's less than
It's
what
less.
we
So
estimated.
we
We're
thought
all
we'd
saying
be
right
up
now.
10% more, right?
But next year, I'm a little bit more hopeful next year that I'm actually gonna go up 3%.
Well, if Lori's hopeful, then that
What?
says, if you're hopeful, that says something.
And I think it's conservative, but I'm really thinking it's gonna go up.
so sorry, like year over year, not based on what we estimated, but based on what we yielded last year sales tax, are we up from that? Or if you don't know, I don't.
We're down.
Oh, I-
Yeah,
We're down to.
No, that's based on our estimate of what we thought we were going to bring
Yeah,
in.
what we thought we would,
We're 2.8 below what we targeted, but that's not what we year over year, what we yielded. So I'm just wondering if we're bringing in more sales tax in 2020.
you know, I'm just gonna have this to you, you can look at it. This bar column, if you wanna look at it, is year over year, if we've gone up or down, 7%, 15% in the
These
red.
are based on the actual yield.
Those are actuals for about 15 years.
Yes, thank you.
So,
That's,
So people have spent less than we were counting.
yeah, and what I'm wondering is if other cities
Is it
overestimated
more
what they
than
thought.
what we yielded last
So
year?
they're not, it's 10% over their yield. It's not over their budget. They're calling it somewhere 10 and greater.
Below.
Or below their yield was down. So, yeah.
The thing that I don't understand about that, and we've never been able to get a number, we're working on the total sales tax revenue for the county. But we don't know what Russia or what you.
What our portion.
So what our portion is bringing in, because, we have a lot. So, local sales tax revenue, and I know that goes, and we get a bigger part of that, right?
Right.
That goes into the pot as well. And so, really what I said before, people have spent less.
Yeah.
And that, because we don't.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't surprise me, because of what we've gone through, honestly. But I wish that we understood how much we would actually brought in Pleasant View by having our commercial area, because we put a lot of stock in that, bringing in, Sunpro, Chick-fil-A.
Neither one of those have started itself.
I know they haven't started selling, but looking forward to next year, hopefully. That would be, and I don't know if Sunpro if we're gonna get that, if it's point of sale that we're gonna get, or are they gonna put that into something else and not even have it set up
There's
any?
point of sale there and the property.
So
taxes as
when,
well.
they get their business licenses, they have to put down their sales tax ID number. And Debbie will look at them and make sure that it says Pleasant View City, it's not Ogden City or whatever. So hopefully that sales tax number is attached to their business and they're reporting it correctly.
And so
That's
all
what we
those,
hope we have.
see, but we never, I mean, I've never, and I don't think, I mean, I'm not gonna ask it for now because I just can't get it, but I wish we could have something that showed what our efforts are,
Yeah.
other than just a big, you know, wag.
Is that, Laurie, is that something that needs to be audited or go look
It's
at?
private, I mean, that's their private information.
But they won't release what each entity
Well,
gets
well,
from their business.
I'm just saying this, I'm saying the city themselves that they're assigned to and their sales tax.
So Debbie will, so when they get the business license, they put their sales tax ID number where they collect sales tax and they report it to the state. It's
Okay.
attached to Pleasant View City. So Debbie checks those to make sure
Okay.
it is attached to Pleasant View. So that's kind of our check and balance there, but to go deeper,
You can't.
I don't think we'll ever be able to audit it or.
Specific things.
But that's why it's good to have businesses like the Chick-fil-A's and the Suncoast of the world, because all of that, they're gonna, right, they're going to pay their local sales taxes and their everything's
But
gonna
we
be.
just, but we hope, that's what I'm saying, we hope that
But it'd be nice
has
to see.
returned. And now we're and I understand 2.8 down, that's, you know, I mean, that's just, people are spending less buying cars, doing all the different things. But I just wish we could see something from our efforts to bring commercial in, and we never, I mean, we can't, I get it. But you'd hope that number would go up
Well,
across the board.
the only other years it went down in the last 20 years were 2008, 2009,
Yeah.
year over year. So
We
every other year's
We
been an
know,
increase. So
to
it's not a good indication, right? Those were
Yeah.
bad years.
Inflation's down though.
But I guess we could compare to, like you say, to other cities, right? Other cities are going down considerable percentage compared to us, right?
I know this is gonna sound horrible, but tariffs actually will raise the cost, which will raise the test sales tax charged on the cost.
If people buy it.
But yeah, I mean, so we may see we may have a delta of 10%, but we're on the upside of where
Of
other
everybody else.
cities are
Instead
seeing
of-
12%. So maybe, I know I listen to North Ogden.
Oh, North.
I know there's more stress there.
All right.
The other cities are doing pretty good. That's the positive.
This is the one that's crazy.
So we just talked about the sales tax revenue. The same thing's happening with the transportation sales tax revenue. That's for our roads. So it's going down and then I'm guessing 3% increase next year. And that's what Tyson uses for roads also.
The transportation
Building
sales tax.
permits are kind of on the low side too. We've gotten commercial, but the residential is not. We usually would do like 30, sometimes 40 residentials a year. This year, at the year, and about 19. So next year, I'm guessing maybe 15 residential and 8 commercial. So
Well,
that's what I'm estimating.
you might get more with the townhomes and things like that.
Yeah, I think
And
it's
we're
possible.
thinking too, by the time they go through subdivision processes, it may not hit until this year.
Next year.
Not this year, but maybe the following year. So. And then we have the ARPA in there. We still have 673,000 that we can spend for the decamp project. So that one is in there. And showing up in the general fund. The school resource officer, will probably bring in about 90,000 to cover that officer. And then we've made a lot of changes to the fees, and that'll be at the very end of our pack, so we'll go through some of those. But those increases I've included in the budget. So if we're increasing building permit, inspections, and all those different things, it's affecting the budget, and those numbers are in here.
In the line
In-
items,
in
you do
time.
use that.
Yeah, if you guys adopt those fees. Now, as far as the general fund expenditures, there's the ARPA in there, and these are just the larger, maybe, expenditures that are standing out. We talked about the judge's salary, we're upping that. The prosecutor's contract, based on caseloads, is staying the same, haven't adjusted that. In here, we have an aerial map of the city, so 11,000. There are other options, to work with other entities to participate in that, but the 11,000 is in the budget. Insurance, for liability, auto, property, and workers' comp has actually gone down $10,000. But most of it is in the workers' comp, because we're getting good ratings now. in workers' comp. Elections, I included the amount as if nobody's gonna participate with our elections, that we're gonna also have a primary and a general one. So that's assuming the worst case scenario. 2 years ago, I think we spent like 6 or 7,000, so I had in there about 25,000. So that that probably will go down, but we have the same funding for the community support programs. That's to the YCC, the Northview Senior Center
Senior center
and Northview
and the
Maintenance.
heritage.
and the Heritage. And then all the other, budget expenditures are kind of just the normal, the salaries, the office supplies, trainings, those are pretty much the same. And then as far as transfers out, we're doing 600,000 to the equipment fund. And over the last 6 years, the average expenditures have been 617,000. We're gonna plan on, transferring 200,000 to the road fund and 100,000 to the city hall capital plans for future expansion. So that's the general fund. So that leaves us with that 15%, almost 16% carryover.
I asked in the past what we put over for the roads fund. How does that
So
compare?
probably the last two, this is maybe the third or fourth year, we've done 200.
And it's been lower than that. in the past,
We've
right?
done 0. Roads can't keep up with,
Oh,
What
we're so
we're-
far behind.
yeah, so it's just general fund.
In the
Not
past-
you guys,
In the past,
the
we've done 200,000 to the capital, the city capital plan. And, I asked her to decrease that to 100,000 this year. Keep the roads fund at 200,000. Great need there.
Yeah.
So I missed what you said, that it was higher last year, the last. two
Yes,
Budgets, right?
yes. Yeah, 200,000 to the city hall capital plan for future expansion.
Well, yeah, I'm sure we'll get into that, but
Yeah,
we just reduced it. this
Yeah.
year.
Because revenue's down.
so we can keep the roads and keep costs down, but
That was the general fund. Now, these are all the capital improvement projects, so we have the enterprise funds for water, the garbage, the sewer, parks. So this is just kind of like a fast highlight, and the details are in those capital improvement plans attached. So for parks, we have budgeted the pickleball. We're doing some impact fee updates and fee
what's,
studies.
talk to me about the pickleball. What's the
Pickleball.
additional 40,000?
40,000, so with the bids that we've already approved
That way.
and what the expenditures have already been, we're about 40,000 in the hole. So we've
But
added that,
we found those costs.
Yeah,
but we still did the contract at the higher amount.
Well, that's a not to exceed contract.
Okay. But with those two contracts, as we had them, you're about 36,000 in.
so is this just kind of a
It's good to
just
be a
in case
placeholder.
scenario? It's not necessary, we've worked with them to reduce it, but just in case.
The
there's
funds
the
are
amount
here,
to make
so
up.
if you do go
Yeah.
low, or,
And this,
Yeah.
So it's smart to have that there, just in case.
So we've approved the amount, which is the extra 40K,
Yeah,
but we don't think we're gonna
let's turn
spend
the
that.
page.
yeah, the
14.
contract that was signed has the extra 40K that we were short.
but that's, and it's, this little background, this is a little different. Cause we're entered into kind of a design build contract, which is not normal for the city. We usually do a hard contract with hard costs and then do change orders and stuff like that. Kind of wanted to avoid that, so we did a design build not to exceed. And so we worked the last, I guess it was 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
with Bailey and the staff to
find the cost savings.
find the cost savings that Laurie brought up. So that we could
But this will
stay under
just
that
really
amount.
match with what actually the amount
Yeah.
is. And actually, in case there's,
Cover the basis
Any-
of liability.
yes.
Yeah, so all I did is I took what we spent so far, and then, the different fundings that we have from the city and from RAM, And then from the PBPA, and then I took the two contracts that we had from EK Bailey. And with all those different things, we were like 36 a month. So that's why I put the 40 in there.
We got the check right there. We need to put that in the bank.
I mean, we can leave it in there if we want, but I don't know. I don't think we'll need it, so.
Don't tell me.
But, I mean, you can keep it there just as a placeholder and move it around, it's just kind of a shell game, right? But we've worked with Bailey and the price is lower than what that is, so.
We could probably put it in the 2027 budget instead.
So it'd be-
It's gonna be done.
Well, you know what, though? I think it's smart. It's good. It's good fiscal sense. to
Well,
put
this is
it
just a starting place.
Yeah, but
anyway.
All right.
not spend it, it's gonna stay in the parks fund. They'll just keep
there.
the balance higher.
And then if we don't spend it, we can end up with some sunshine.
All right, storm sewer, sorry.
Expenditures, there are some camp facilities. Last meeting, you adopted or you passed the 2025 capital improvement projects. Those are in there. We're updating the impact fee study, and we're gonna actually do a study on the actual fees, monthly fees. And then after all these projects that we've done, our impact fees that we're supposed to spend within 7 years, we're in good shape. We've struggled for the past few years getting that money spent. But after these projects, we're good for till 2029, 2030.
Quick
So we're good.
question on
Same with
bonding.
sewer.
When are
We
we
ain't there
looking
yet.
to start?
You're skipping ahead.
Oh, sorry.
The next one is water.
Okay, now we're at water, so.
Water. Yeah. maybe
So
kind
we're
of tell us.
doing zone 1 right now with the money that we have, but when we hit zone 2, we need to have that bonding in place or we will not be able to fund it. And so we'll have to do the bonding, we'll have to we'll have to do a water study on our fee schedule to get, and then do the bonding and do it all at the same time,
When are we kind of looking at doing that?
as soon as possible.
Yeah, we're about 7 years behind on the contract we entered. They've been really nice with us, so
Well, they've been nice with us because we've been paying them for nothing.
I don't know.
So I wouldn't give them any credit.
Well, they could be not nice, so.
Say,
Well,
They want it for their benefit as much as ours.
And they're getting money for no water.
Okay.
so we'll have to look at.
I think we'll start looking at it probably this fall or early. Sure. What we want to do, you know, and it might be next June, July we shoot for. We'll see when we need it. We'll see how far along we get, but you know, if we can get watch rates, I think we're gonna want to get somebody working on the bonding, even if it's just we go through all the steps and say, okay, now watch it until we can get X rate, yeah. Cause you don't want to wait till the good rates are there and then start the process, cause you'll miss the window. So,
Doing that water rate study, it takes time to go through and figure out all those.
Anytime we raise rates. we have
Yeah,
to
and some of the
Sewer.
changes with the water, we had to adjust those tank sizes, cause as the state was rolling out their, your usage rule changes, that affects how big that tank is, and you're at about, roughly $350 a gallon. And so if you could reduce the gallon size, then it drops the cost, and while all that was settled, we had to prove up on those plans before you can pick what size tank, so you don't end up with future maintenance problems or financial issues.
anyway, we'd like to get started on the whole process, so.
Yeah.
In the sewer fund, there's just a few projects there, some liners for the 1972 trunk lines, some sewer main replacements and binding repairs. And also the same thing, the impact fees are good with all the projects we've done up until 2029, 30. That's a good thing.
She's been stressing over that, if you can't tell.
I know, for years.
So it's good to have, yeah.
In the streets, we're just still working on the Skyline Drive rail crossing, and the Alberta Drive acquisitions
That we just talked about.
that we just talked about, huh?
And at some point, I'd like to see, we've got the 200,000 we're thinking about putting in. I'd like to see details where we're planning on sending that funding, if you can, at some point.
Yeah.
And where our next target spots for road repair.
Yeah, he comes every year with the plan.
Yeah, well, I'll bring that,
Okay.
that same exhibit map that shows the type of, maintenance and
We
where.
have that plan, kind of, that you guys have For the preferences.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have it broke out and then you have to adjust with what's going on that
Sure.
year or utility needs.
Okay, well,
So we
yeah, I'd
try
like
to
see
just
that.
move them around.
For the budget then, you can show us before final budget.
Yes,
Of what your intention is for the 200.
sure.
Well, that's just our portion, I mean, we still get.
B and C road funds and so, yeah.
But it would be nice to see what the projects are that
Will
are
it be
coming.
500,000? What do we anticipate? I know you said it's gonna be down, what?
What, on what?
B and C road funds.
That may about 600,000.
600.
That one's not really affected, is that sales tax transportation one. And we get a little bit from you, and that's going down. But hopefully.
For
that-
six, so maybe have maybe roughly 800,000 for roads this year, possibly.
When we get the road, I can't remember. we
But
got-
It's a little
Bill, were you
lower.
gonna-
You're
what's the
using the
budget?
three different budgets, so like your tough fee pays for your chip seal and I think it's just under
That's right.
90,000.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. Okay.
In the equipment fund, there's a lot of purchases in that fund. But the highlights are actually purchasing those 10 leased vehicles. And then we need 5 cages for those vehicles. And there's 2 more vehicles that have leases on them, so we'll finish that lease for next year. Looking at a new school crossing area on 2550. Either repair some crossing lights or some replacements, so they're still looking into what needs to be done down there. And then we have some office equipment, and it's just listed, we'll have to go through those.
Somebody bring me up on the new school crossing, because I haven't
Is it
heard about
different
this.
or
That's
distance with Majestic Elementary?
No, I talked to Tyson and Lori and we're still kind of working on it. It's just, so what happened is the crossing guard reached out to me, the lady that's been down there all year. She sent me a text one day and was just like, I'm gonna quit. I can't do this. It's too dangerous. It's not worth it. And she's about seeing a few kids get hit. So we went down there and there is a huge problem. They just speed through there. I mean, and we wrote some ticket, we've had some guys go down and unmark and then while she's out with her sign, and just go through there. One of the major differences is that is a 40-mile-an-hour, kind of not really residential road. That she's doing the crosswalk at. And so everywhere else that we have them are 30-mile-an-hour.
Or 25, yeah.
residential area. And so it is really dangerous cars. I don't know if they're just not aware, they're not seeing it. She's talking about crosswalk kids between like 30 and 50 kids. Every day. So one of the problems, and I went down there a few times and I think we need to replace the lights that flash. And, I'm hoping we can just get like some good LED lights in there so that they can't miss them. There are already some signs up that say speed zone ahead and stuff like that. I was gonna look into maybe seeing if they make any that flash lights, you know, school zone, or just something to try and control.
We've
that.
talked a lot too about decreasing the speed limit along there to 35. Making so.
So, just a personal bit of history. I used to go to Weber State as an adult, and I would go on Harrison Boulevard, 32nd Street. And, in the morning. And Ogden City Police would have a lineup of police officers writing tickets. To where even when the light wasn't flashing, I was going 20 miles an hour through there. Just because, I mean, and it was often that there was a speed trap during school.
Yeah.
And you say you've gone there a couple of times, but if you have people actually going through there, that needs to be a heavy
Yeah, and it has-
presence that you're down there, that, I mean, they are there, have all of our officers. Just one after another. If you speed through there, quickly they will realize, I mean, signage is great, I'm not saying that, but if they're speeding through a stop sign, that is not what is that? A huge misdemeanor, may not be a felony, but
It's a $280 fine.
then you start.
If you're less than 10. If you're more than 9, or sorry, if you're 10 or over, it goes up to like 500 or something.
So I would encourage,
Chock full.
I mean, I would, if there is speeders through a school zone, that has to be on you guys. to monitor that.
They do have 3 school zones though, it's kind of crazy.
Well, but I don't care, have that one, if that one's the one that they're
Yeah.
going through.
I don't know if we wanna solve this now, but I don't
We have
know
five,
it's just an
six.
enforcement issue, there's gonna be opportunities or some way we can figure out.
Well, just like for my, on Harrison and 32nd Street.
Well,
You-
all right,
you
let's,
stop.
Yeah.
let's,
Nice.
so it's not a new school crossing, it's to modify the existing.
Just to fix that.
Okay,
So what she does is she they come from the apartments, they come down, they cross right there,
Mhm.
and then they go down and she's having a little PTSD because they go down and they go down on the sidewalk, can't cross that 350 west. And she's like, almost daily, people come in there and the kids can't get across, because there's so many cars and the kids about getting hit there, so I don't know if we can put another. crossing
It's
guard
crazy.
there.
If you drive down there when school's out, oh my God.
Yeah, it is terrible, but she's really.
I hate to put one down there because it's in the middle of all the,
It's a stop sign. But can you put a cone, they put cones out or anything in that?
I'm not for anything, I just don't.
all right,
I like-
we'll address it. So that's in the budget. All right, let's move on.
And in the RDA budget, we're just continuing the rural and white extension, if there's anything up higher, and the project with Far West. As far as, so the police vehicles are in the equipment replacement fund. As far as the public works trucks, they're in all different kind of funds, so I just listed them here. So there's 2 water sewer trucks, 2 streets, storm sewer trucks, 1 park truck and 1 dump truck, and Kubota attachments for next year. And as far as fees, the storm sewer, we do need to do a study and adjust those. The fund's not handling itself. The water fees, same thing, we're gonna do a study and get those up before the bonding occurs. The sewer, just to keep that same percentage that goes to Central River Sewer, it's a 40-cent increase. So it's going from $30 to $30.40. And in the garbage recycling fund, each can increases by 50 cents.
Let's put that out on social media. Garbage cans are increasing.
Yeah, we're holding it down, so we don't have to increase it $5 to pay for your garbage can.
As far as personnel issues, the plan for increases, so I think the mayor and Dave Marriott, and I don't know who else met. So the plan is one year they're gonna do the market study. And the next year they'll do like some kind of a COLA based on the consumer price index. The 3rd year, the pay ranges will just go up $1. But each year there'll be a pay.
A dollar
performance
amount.
Adjusted by the city council,
Instead of $1.
No, it's a dollar amount,
Okay.
$1. And, oh, $1 amount, not $1.
right?
Okay. That's what I thought. They changed that one. So in.
It'll be
for
set
this
by
year, it's a
us.
COLA.
The council will set that.
Okay,
I can explain why we come to that.
okay, and then the COLA this year is a 2.8, when I looked that up here in March. And then the performance adjustments are limited to a 3%. And that's this year's plan. And that is what's in the, budget right now. Health insurance is staying the same, and the dental is staying the same. Health insurance went up 5.8%. It was higher, but our, agent got PHP to drop it down a little bit.
That was
Dental
what?
insurance went up about 5,
What was it? What did he say it was?
6.3 or 6.
Which is actually fairly good from,
And they dropped it down to 5.
compared to everybody else's, yeah.
It seems to be pretty good coverage for what we've got. Dental, is going up a little bit, 5.3%. Same things, that we've had in prior years, long-term disability, the accidental death, nothing's changed there. Our EAP program, that's staying the same. That employees can choose to have a flex spending an account. We're staying with URS, and it's actually gone down just a little bit this year. They're we're still, the contribution that the employees have to put in, nothing's changed with the public safety. That amounts the same. For the employees in the public employee system, that's gone up just a little bit.
In the tier
No, it
two?
went down. No, it went up. Yeah, just a little bit, it's 0.81% up from 0.7%. And then still in the budget, we have the matching program. City puts in 1.5%, and the employee will also put 1.5% in. Our full-time equivalency this year is 40.5. And the staff changes is I did put in a crossing guard down at the new location, if that's decided. And actually, a seasonal street maintenance worker, 800 hours. That will come out of general fund and storm sewer.
Is
And
that
that's
crossing guard,
overview.
the crossing guard, is that in the police budget or is that,
It's please,
it's a police budget?
yeah, general fund. So those are just the highlights of the budget. I don't know if you want to go to streets, since you guys did have questions on the streets, we'll hit that one. So. page 21.
29?
21?
So there's three. Three funding sources for the roads. The first one is the Class C that we get from the state. So we're anticipating the 600,000. And we're actually going to use about 400,000 of that for the street projects for this year. And that 200 that we're transferring from the general fund, we'll use that also for this year. So about a $600,000 project this year, and also next year the same, if we still keep that 200,000. But in the following year, that'll be a bigger program. I think it's a rebuild probably in 2027. So that's the Class C. And in there, you got the vehicles and the dump truck. And the other source, if you turn the page, this is that transportation sales tax money that we get. That follows the sales tax. So we're down just a little bit this year, up a little bit next year, about 230,000 coming in. And we're using this money across.
The sidewalk trip hazard, is that what we're looking at?
Yeah. Yeah, so sidewalk projects and continue the street lighting program, miscellaneous concrete and striping and crack seal. So that's where that money is being used. And the other one is page 24. And this is where all the WACOG money is coming in on Skyline Drive projects. The transportation impact fees are coming into here. The utility fees are coming into this one. And this is where we have all the WACOG projects, just your basic transfer from general funds coming in here. We have some chip seal, asphalt patching, and we are going to update the impact study. So those are the three sources of funding and the different funds.
$50,000 to do, update the tough impact. Oh, yeah, capital comes to one.
Oh, so there's two studies in that total.
One study. They kind of together.
One
Well,
study
two.
too.
Yeah,
Part of it was done this year where we updated that RSL value to build out our 5-year plans, and you need that value updated so you can do the next part of it.
as far as the other funds go, the projects are in there. I don't know if you want to go through them and be ready for the next meeting. But right now, if we go through maybe the fee schedule, because we have a lot of changes on it, I'll let you know what we're doing. And then the next meeting, we'll have a work session. And if you go through them, you can kind of say, hey, what's this project or this project? Hopefully I've spelled things out pretty good that you can, follow and see what they are. So if you turn to page 40. So we've taken our current fee schedule and then we've just gone through and just redlined it. So on page 440, the only change we have on there is our minor subdivision ordinances. It really says it's 4 lots or less, so that's just a correction. Page 41, we have a detention basin in lieu of. So if they don't, if a subdivision doesn't do a detention basin, in there, we have $600 per lot, but it could be totally different depending on where the basin's at, where the subdivision at, the work that needs to do to get there. So that's just based on the engineering.
I don't like that.
determination.
We put a,
I don't like that.
yeah, could we put a dollar amount, like
anticipated,
could be reduced?
Yeah, up to depending on the engineering.
Determination, yeah.
I'm
Is
not
it- Part of it is getting to those regional ponds. And so the way they have this in here, if somebody thought they could buy out of a subdivision for every lot, and you wouldn't get near enough. So we don't even know where the 600 came from exactly, and because we've been working those into those regional ponds if you can, but not everybody's subdivision links back directly to the access to a regional pond. So you can't always do that mechanism anyway.
600, I think it's been in there since 2005, 2006. I think that number's been there for a long time.
So are we saying it's low, or we think we would get more money out of the engineering determination?
There's a place for it, but you don't really have a dollar value because it would be dependent on some variety of factors.
How about if they want to do it, we have them do a development agreement, just specify the cost of the development agreement. Maybe take it right out of the fee schedule and say, if you want to do that, we'll let you do it, you just need to do a development agreement.
But don't, I mean, this is an impact on our system, whether they have something in the law. I mean, there's still an impact on.
Yeah, so they would still do, so basically they'd have to take care of their own unless they enter it into a development agreement that we work out with the engineer and the DRC that says we would rather you contribute to this regional pond in the amount of X amount of dollars.
And that, saying we've done that twice now. This came up during a single lot subdivision where you were doing minor swells in front yards that leaves a understaffed group having to police that many more ponds. It's, would you have a regional pond nearby? And that's when this item came up. During bigger.
So my house, I mean, just use my house as an example, my stormwater just goes down gutter to along Pleasant View Drive. It's not really the intention or anything, but anyway, it floods too much, it does go into the canal at some point. So I mean, there is an impact. I can't remember what I did 30 years ago. Hey, but and there is, I don't know. I hear what you're saying, but there is an impact plus if they have to build it.
But this is in lieu of,
Yeah,
you know,
so going back to Dave's question, is this high or low typically of what?
$600.
I mean,
it's pretty reasonable, but
It's low, and if you're using that mechanism, like the mayor's talking with some sort of development agreement, because that's what we were doing with, it's the two subdivisions, and I'm terrible with their names.
But do they ever,
Next to Humphreys.
do they ever, when we say you're gonna retain it on site and have their own detention base or retention, whatever it is. Does that always work? Is it always?
No, so the one next to Tina's, you know, you have the smaller lots. We had a pond with deficiencies right around the corner from the existing subdivision. And so they design out their pond fully, just like you would in the normal process. It's gonna cost this much for them to build it. We would have escrow for it, just like a normal pond. And then we did an agreement that you're gonna give us that money that you were gonna invest in that pond. And we're gonna take it and go and invest it in our pond that we already.
and I think that's the way we should do it.
Yes.
Because, I mean, they could come back and say, well, no, I only need to pay $600 per lot.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's,
That's why I'd say, let's just take it out of here and make, if they want to do that, or we want them to do it, we could enter into a negotiation and create a,
As long
if not, then they got to maintain it.
Yeah,
and
as
do it
long
on
as it's
their own.
somewhere in.
Yeah.
We're not
No, we don't want to short, we're, and I think in that process, I think this way we short
Yeah.
ourselves.
Well, even.
The other
even
way we can make,
Like Weaverview,
get the money.
that subdivision by me,
Yeah.
I still think we've got taken by that. I mean, they put in that underground thing, but if we have 100-year storm, it's gonna way overload that, and it's gonna overload that little stream. And it's just, we're sunk, we're done.
What it said not less than, what that a not engineer estimate, but not less than $750 or whatever you think the lowest amount would ever be that an impact.
If we can vet out just removing it and make sure there isn't a code that's attached to it or something that's requiring it here, that was the part we haven't.
Let's talk
Dug
about
in
that
where
at
it came
DRC maybe
from.
tomorrow.
So.
This is, yeah, highlight that as possible, we need to change it. Yeah, that'd be okay too, Phil, this is fun.
42. So on our, building permits, everything's just way, I mean, haven't changed these fees for a long time. So we've changed well, this is actually just a clarification on the miscellaneous permits. It is $100, which is $100 minimum fee for any building permit.
So $100 minimum and can go up from there.
Yeah, and such as a fence. If they just came in for a fence, and it was on a permit for a home, it's like $15. But just for, if that's all they're doing, our work and stuff, just to get that permit out, it's $100. So it depends on where it's put on. So same thing, just clarify on that one. On plan check fee, that's still a question mark. There's some new state rules on plan checks for plans that are exactly the same on how we're gonna collect. And I don't know, it's 35% of the building things or whatever.
We gotta
So
vet
a lot of
that out.
question marks there. All of our electrical inspections, plumbing, mechanical, sewer, water, 25, just to have, our inspector go out there, I think it's $65 an hour. So we've been losing money there for a long time. Construction water, $50. Mike Littlefield has actually figured that should be more like $140, at a bulk rate of $7 per gallon.
Construction water.
They
So
come
we
hook
don't-
to a hydrant.
We don't
You-
have a
no.
meter at home.
You get a jumper in the meter, and so they use it for the brick and miscellaneous stuff during the home building process, not the hydrant meter. Yeah,
The cost of a water meter to 3/4 and 1 inch was going from $400 to $525. Page 44 is the next changes. First one is just to clarify, we've had in there storm sewer connection fee, but it really is the storm sewer impact fees, which is a correction in the words. What page?
44.
And then we just added the word impervious surface, just to make it more clear what they're paying that, storm sewer fee on. Same thing with activity, is $50 per inspection. And we're still reviewing new state regulations on that.
When we're charged for well, not stormwater necessarily, but like a sewer connection, or when we pay the big fee, how we charge, is that?
So on your building permit, you're paid whatever,
But
it's set per zone.
But how do they bill us for that, when we're, like if.
How does Weaver
we
Central
don't-
Sewer bill us?
They don't, they count on us to collect it, and
I mean, do they go by gallons that are pumped out of the
Central
toilet? Yeah, or the stormwater or anything like that, I mean,
Calculate.
yeah, but how is that, how are they billing us for that? Cause this is going up to.
for storm sewer, they're not, but
This is,
Well, but anyway, I just wondered how, I mean, is it just to have the connection and that's just the fee? Or is it, or is if
our
enough water
impact
goes through?
fees are based on studies.
Okay,
And that's per law, and has the city to back it. So those
Okay.
are our impact fees.
Right.
How other people are billing us centrally for sewer that.
they do the same thing, they do a
is
study.
based on the bonding.
but if we have 27 new connections to that, does our fee go up or is it just?
It's
flat?
the same, whatever that impact study said it was.
All right,
Yeah, it's until we do a new study. it stays the same. So down here, we're doing a change. So on the fees, so we collect the Central Weaver Sewer impact fees, and we also collect the Northview Fire Agency impact fees. So we're doing all the work. If we don't get the forms, we're calling back and forth and whatever. And we've been charging a $10 fee on the building permit, so we're charging the building applicant. But you know what? We're doing the work for Central Weaver Sewer. If they want to get city inspected, collect their own, so we really should be billing them and not the builder.
I agree.
And so we're changing this, so it's $75. So anytime we do a review, it's gonna be $75 and we're billing Central Weaver Sewer. Or we're gonna bill Northview Fire. And I thought, put this on the next agenda, so if you guys approve it, then we can let Central Weaver Sewer know, and Northview that July 1st, we're gonna start billing you. Unless you want to collect it yourself. You know, just kind of give them a heads up. So that'll be on the next agenda.
Is that being done everywhere, or is that just other cities? do that?
I don't know how the others, I'm sure other cities are collecting for them.
Okay.
When we first did this, they said, hey, you can charge a $10 fee or something, so we've done that. But just, it doesn't make sense. No, it's not covering anything. The Northview Fire Agency impact fees, we put them in here just so the builders know.
Are these the
what
new
to
ones
expect.
they've adopted?
No, it's highlighted, those will change when we get the new numbers from the,
What are those impact fees? Are they for Northview?
that's their impact fees, and so I think they're doing a new study or something, and they're gonna be giving us new numbers.
What are they?
What is-
Now, are they?
It's in the yellow, and so like for a
Oh.
So
single
this is
home,
what they charge
they
now.
pay
Mhm.
$225.
Okay.
Are they looking to have a truth and taxation share as well?
I don't know, they're having a meeting on Thursday. And I'm not gonna be there, so. I don't- I'm gonna be in Goshen.
Next change is on page 46. Signs, we're just gonna have them based on the valuation, and it's just based on the building permit valuations. So what if the electric sign, whatever the valuation of it, that's what we're gonna charge them.
Right.
Instead of just the 50 or the 100, or depending on what they are.
What do you mean by valuation?
So
Less
on
than
a
$1,000
home,
is gonna be percentage.
we have a valuation schedule, and so the building inspector will go through it, says, oh, you have so many garages here, here's the value of your home.
Okay.
And, on a sign, they can actually come in and say, hey, this sign is valued at 5,000. So whatever 5,000 means in the building numbers, that's what it's based on. Mhm. Just like the cost of a home, same thing, we're just gonna use it for signs. Does that make sense?
So-
Yeah, how do you establish what that is per valuation?
Based on, I mean, if the valuation's $10,000, then how would you?
Yeah, because
what are we
I'm
gonna-
sure.
Yeah, the fee schedule's in the building code, like they built it in, so from like $0 to $1,000, it lays out that it's for you, the building code does.
So why, that doesn't make, I mean, I know, we can get, we have a fee for everything, but if Chick-fil-A wants to put a nice big sign up there. I mean, is that what the sign you're talking about, like an electric
Yeah, and
sign?
theirs
I
is
don't,
actually what triggered this, because other people have been putting up signs, and we've just been doing the sign on the building or the back of the building, and it's like $50 or $100 or whatever it was. But then when we start driving around, you see, oh, they have a sign for their menu, they have a sign for this, but nobody's ever come forward.
why do we care about that? I mean, why,
Well, we don't, it's just treating people fairly.
but
too.
like, I don't even know what the point, whatever it is, I talked to him a while ago, they redid their sign out in front, it was a big deal to come in and get the permit for that.
But it was $50 or it's $100.
See, so that, and I don't, I mean, they're paying for the sign, why do we wanna up that
What does the fee go to?
to match it? I just don't understand why I mean, let's give them a permit to get a sign, yeah, or get a permit to get a fence. But if Chick-fil-A puts in a nice big sign down there, we're gonna charge them, I still don't know, what that scale is, I mean, is it 10%, is it 5%, is it 3%, whatever it is? But why do we care,
Well, if
I'm
you're
just
gonna
trying
get
to increase-
inspections on it, you're gonna have our inspector go out there and inspect it.
So put those
Who
out.
came up with, is this, came up with this?
talk about it in DRC tomorrow, and maybe
Okay.
Tyler can kind of.
I just don't, it just doesn't seem right. I mean, definitely have our actual fees that are there. If we have to have an inspection, or electrical inspection, we have to have a structural inspection. Light it,
So
I mean-
our inspector came up with these according to
But-
some.
but I'm.
Well, I'd like to see some examples. so
But if
we
you have a
can-
pedestal sign, and I know that there's another guy down there that wants to do
I
a
mean, if
pedestal
it's-
sign in
If it's
addition
$60
to.
versus 50, not big deal, but if it's 600 versus 50,
Yeah,
that's a problem.
yeah, I don't, that doesn't seem fair to me.
So maybe just have an explanation of.
I mean, I wanna see actual costs, and I don't wanna, if we're doing it, you know, if it's costing our lady, our staff, that needs to be the cost, but going off of a, what?
What?
I think some of that goes for you to make sure they're adhering to your code as well.
Well, let's get
I
some
would like to,
examples.
I would like to have some more information on where we're getting
Okay.
that.
We might want to adjust our sign ordinance anyway, because right now they can't put up big tall signs like Costa Rica and stuff. And those people, our restaurants and stuff are suffering from everybody else getting to put up tall signs by the freeway and we can't. if they're in front of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Far west.
Well, typically it needs to be that sign, you know?
So the next changes are on page 48, and those are just the fees that we talked about. Changing the sewer rates up to $30.40, and all the garbage can fees up 50 cents. Page 49.
Do we want to consider replacement fee on that
On what?
garbage can?
No, I don't want
Okay. I mean, if you put it like $2.50 or something like that over a year, I mean, there's a certain, I can't remember what it was, but you can put it over
I
5
really
years.
think it's gonna be, people are gonna break their garbage
Oh.
cans so they can get a new garbage can because it's clean or it's,
I
really
really don't want to pay for other people's garbage cans.
it's
Well,
not
I don't
that.
want to pay for them either, but if we put something, I don't know.
Here's the deal. It's going to be on social media every week because historically he brought in the data and we break a garbage can once a week historically. And that's really not going up. I think it's a little more noticeable just because they tip them over. And so people think that they're rougher and they're terrible on it. And they are terrible because they don't fit the trucks, but they're not breaking at any higher rate than they have historically. But it's gonna break a garbage can every week and the people are gonna get on Facebook and complain about that they're gonna have to spend $134.
I do
You
wanna
can
make-
count on that.
I do want to make a
Regular
statement that
clockwork.
the drivers are more careful now.
They are.
They're
I
being
bought
more-
They are, I've watched them the last couple months and they are more careful. My garbage can is placed down versus thrown down like it has.
Well, that's because
So
you're
I-
out there. Oh.
It's been a lot better.
Like to them to say thank you, like reinforcing the good. you
Yeah,
know?
I'd like,
Oh,
because I think they have been better.
They have.
Tyson gave me your address. Say, hey,
Well,
Mitch,
there you go. If that's,
Maybe
That
Bree
plays
can give them a
back
call
on
and
it.
tell them council. Okay.
That's the cost of a garbage can, an outside garbage.
It's a really
can.
good idea, man. It's free work.
Yeah, we're liking that.
tell them thank you.
And then whoever's calling every week.
We are increasing the auto read fee to penny. We're increasing the auto read fee a penny.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
We've done away with the penny,
Page 49.
making it a nickel.
And then the tap fees, we're just clarifying it's $4 per unit. We did add, utility billing. So if it's a paper billing, actually $1 per statement. And if it's electronic billing, there's no charge. Debbie researched that and we can charge a fee as long as it's covering the cost.
For the, electronic one?
No, for the paper,
So if we get that in the mail,
yeah.
Is that accurate though? It's probably higher than $1.
It is higher. We kind of calculate maybe $1.60, $1.70. But $1 just to have the paper, maybe kind of encourage them to maybe switch to electronic.
Well, I think we should cover our cost on it, like,
yeah, why not cover the cost
Yeah.
of what it is?
I think we should go to whatever you said, $1.75 or whatever we think it is costing.
Yeah, cover the cost. It may fluctuate just because
That's okay.
the overhead,
But we're sending out a newsletter with that too.
so the rate.
But you can get the newsletter via email with your statement as well.
I don't want to get it. I want to read it. I want to have a hard copy.
You can-
Pay $1.
The people in the condos, you can get the newsletter via mail without your statement. They do.
Shouldn't be charging.
I suppose they do,
Okay.
but they do, they get the newsletter,
Let's
because they
just
can call and
get
request.
the actual costs and just, we'll
Okay.
talk about it at the next one. Okay. Animal fees,
Next changes are on
Oh.
page 51.
water turn off.
The water shut off, turn on fee, and this is just a fee if somebody calls and says, hey, I have a water leak, my plumber's coming, or somebody's coming to fix it, you guys come and turn it off. $25 for our guys to go out there and shut it off and shut it on, $25 is nothing. I mean, it's not even covering your wages or the truck time or anything. So we're upping that to $100. The utility late fee for Debbie just to send off a notice saying, hey, you're late, from $10 to $20. Copies, we're just going up to 25 cents. Same as for the grandma copies. And we're upping the grandma research. We can actually have the pay of the lowest person that would do those. And so it's $24.65. Then it's just a clarification down on credit card service fees, that 2%. Is it 2% on anything over $1,000? But we've had people trying to do one bill and then they'll just keep using all their different credit cards. And it's just like, no, it's one transaction. So we try to get the wording in here just to make it, either pay a check or a credit card.
So just curious, can we just give a 2% service fee no matter what the amount is, under 1,000, over 1,000, just so that they,
If you want to, we've done it for court, it's 2%. They're not citizens, we figured they're gonna pay the fee. A lot of these are paying utility bills or whatnot. They're citizens, so we haven't charged on like paying the $30.
It's costing us 2% though, right?
What?
It costs us 2% to take their credit card.
Depending on the credit card, yeah. And so,
if everybody's cool with that, I say we should accept this 2% service fee no matter what for the credit card charge.
okay, so if they're doing dog licenses, doing utility.
Oh, yeah.
payments,
Yeah.
Anytime you
And-
use the credit card, yeah.
Yeah, 2%'s not very much.
What about if we have to pay for Fountain Street tickets?
Yep, 2%.
Yeah, if they're using a machine, yeah.
Is that a true
Every
charge?
other business does that.
Oh, tariff.
Call it a convenience fee at the government level.
Those don't get passed.
Well, they do,
Consumers, I just learned that.
what?
That's why I'm sitting there. Yeah, no, it makes sense to charge the merchant fee.
Page 52, just for recreation, she's added a youth running club. We've never had that program. So that's been added for $35 per participant.
Do we need to add a pickleball one?
Is there pickleball recreation right now?
It's going to
There's
be.
going to be,
When,
probably fall.
we probably ought to get with Cindy and get something in here then.
I think you should.
That should have an impact fee.
Can we have an out-of-city,
Let's do a study to see how much it's going to.
out-of-city use fee for the pickleball
Yes.
courts?
Yeah.
Why?
We're not with that.
All right.
Why not?
Process.
Sam said so.
Reads, just the processing fee for street cuts,
Every
Um,
city does
$100.
Yeah, you're not a resident, it's anymore. For any residential.
Business licensing on page
We
55.
have some agreements.
All right.
Just-
You take part of this.
Wanna run the fire hydrant.
Yeah, for like, city, but like.
And we'll put somebody on it for a while.
If you reserve things or go to their pool, they.
Where are we at? 55?
55, temporary business licenses, $115, and that just, it includes any inspections that we need. And then down to, and this is already in there, but we're just clarifying it, failure to pay an assessment like fees, just look at the code and failure to license a business. The code's already there, but it's lengthy. So we're just gonna reference it. And then on the very last page, 58, these are for, manufactured homes. From $200 if they're a single unit, $350, and a double unit will go $350 to $500. And those are the fee changes.
What is that for again?
Manufactured homes,
Is the building permit or just a permit?
that's what we charge them.
A lot of revenue off of all those food increases.
None of it goes into the general fund, though. Some of it does.
If you have questions about the budget, I don't know if you just want to take it home over this next couple of weeks and just go through the details and to see if you have any questions. If you have something that we need to research, let us know, and then we'll have another budget workshop on the 27th. And that meeting, you need to decide if you want to do a truth in taxation.
That's my biggest question, Lori, is how, I mean, we'll look at this and see, but I just don't know how we would know.
The hard thing is they haven't given us any numbers on property
Yeah.
taxes, but yeah, by law, we have. to
Certified
know.
rate doesn't come out till June 1st.
Yeah.
But right now, as proposed, we're at 15, almost 16%.
What were we last year? We were really close to that one.
I think it was higher is what it was initially, and then obviously.
So if you turn to page 12, this year we're coming in anticipated at a 28, almost 29%.
Oh,
On this, yeah.
Page 12?
wait, but that's 24, 25.
But
Yeah, for
that's,
this year.
but that's not what was presented. We,
Yeah, this is all our changes and stuff
Yeah.
for this year. On how the budget's looking, and for next year. it's
so
almost-
I'm gonna guess at the end of next year, we're gonna come in at 20-something% also.
So I help my brain understand that we are the 24, 25. We wouldn't be doing the truth in taxation based on anything on the 24, 25.
No.
No,
Yeah, so that 28.91,
We'll drop to 16% because we approved the budget. then.
no, that's 28, that's what will probably come in at the end of this year.
Right.
That's probably the percentage of that 35%. You say end of this year, end of this.
June 30th.
Yeah, this year would probably,
does everybody else's brain understand what was just said?
I do,
So
I understand.
the 28.9%
Is
is what,
anticipated.
at the end of our fiscal year, is what we're anticipating is what?
it's
Will be a-
30% of anticipated revenue.
That will-
By law, we can only keep up to 35%
Yes,
of it.
okay,
So
that's
this
the,
is 28% of
hold
that
back.
35.
okay.
And that's your estimate.
Yeah,
That's my estimate. And next year, the estimate's about 16%.
but we,
Sometimes I'm
That's not the-
conservative.
we're
But we're
usually
saying-
come in better than we. Okay, for the last 7 years, I think we come in better. I will make a recommendation right now that I don't think we should do a truth and taxation hearing. Please take the budget, review it, and come to your own.
What we're thinking based on this, then that means we would have a 12%.
We're spending more.
We're spending 12% over what we'd held back from
Last year.
Yeah,
last year.
but if you go back to what we adopted, it was in the teens.
Yeah.
And
And now we
we,
got up to
yeah.
20. Okay. So we
and
will always,
typically that's what's happened.
Well, we're up there because what police budget was under, there's several budgets that are under, right? That's why we're getting up to 20%,
Yeah.
28%.
Yes.
We fill all the positions and certain things happen that the budgets, we don't spend them all.
Yeah,
spend all
So-
carry over.
which is
It
typically the
does.
case.
So what do you project hold over to be at, in the general fund?
28.
28%?
This year,
And next year you say 16?
16.
And last
it's
year, the
conservative.
projected, I can get, do you know what the projected was last year that we approved? It was about 16%. It was about the same.
15?
About
28.
16.
16%? No, that's what we.
That's what we approved was about the same as what
That would
this
be
is.
miracle. City of-
I think they're all gonna have truth and taxation.
Well, I know a lot of them are. Harrisville is, Northampton is.
Far West is not.
Oh, well, there you go.
So, what happens if you exceed that at the end of the year?
We get an audit.
We won't.
Over the
You
35.
mean the 35 or?
Yeah,
We'll
so
never,
if
we'll
we
never
don't-
be over 35, but-
Yeah, I would think so. I'm just curious what. that
No,
means.
what would happen, we keep a pretty good eye on it.
We could put it in.
So what we would do is move it to
Move it
like
somewhere.
the building fund or something, yeah, roads or so, you just move it to another fund. So that's just general funds she's
Okay,
talking.
good. Reason to get in trouble.
But we would move it at the last,
So expense.
yeah,
Yeah.
to another fund, like the road fund or the capital buildings fund or capital project fund.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. I thank you
Okay.
for that rule.
We ready to move on to item 8? Item 8, tentative budget. Tentatively adopt the tentative budget for the 2025-26
Mayor,
fiscal
I'll
year.
make a motion that we set, that we adopt this and set June 10th as,
Let's do number 8 first.
I thought that's where we were. Oh, just adopt the
Just
tentative
adopt.
budget. Okay.
Tentatively adopt the tentative budget.
I'll second the motion.
So I'll adopt this, tentatively adopt the budget.
All right. A motion by Gibson, second by Marriott. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, all voting aye. Number 9, set the public hearings. Set public hearings to consider amending the 2024-2025 fiscal year budget and adopting the 2025-26 fiscal year budget.
So this is my idea. Actually have the public hearing on May 27th. And then if the public comes and they have any changes or anything they want to, you're not addressing it that night. You still have till June 10th to adopt the budget, but that's just,
Yeah, I'm here the
Wow.
27th, I'm gone the 10th, so 27th public hearing is what you're talking about.
May the 27th.
May 27th.
We're gonna have a lot going on May, June.
On the June 10th, we're gonna have the, actually, we did that last year too. We honored them and then we held it.
Was that public hearing? I can't remember.
It actually looked, it went pretty good.
All right,
We had a truth and taxation.
that's, I'm game if that's what.
Let's do it the
27th.
So, is that a motion? Are we doing a motion to set a public hearing?
Set it.
I'll make a motion to set a public hearing to consider amending 2024-2025 fiscal year budget and adopting the 2025-26 fiscal year budget for May 27th.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Nelson, second by Arrington. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, all voting aye.
So how does the budget get pushed out? I mean, how is it available to the public for us right now? Will it be on the website or,
yeah, I'll put it on the website or if they want to walk in and get a hard copy,
okay,
they will.
This tentative budget will
The
be on
tentative budget.
prior to the 27th.
uh-huh,
Well, it has to be
budget,
tomorrow.
And then anything,
because that's only
Sure.
2 weeks, right? We're 2 weeks away.
make changes to them, it's not final.
It's not final till we vote on a final.
Okay,
We think we'll vote on not a final on the 27th. We think we'll vote on a final on the 10th.
the 10th. We have to, right now, we're saying we're gonna do a
27th,
final.
we'll have the stuff finalized and stuff.
Yeah, well, I just think we won't have the truth and taxation stuff though either.
Or you can still have the public hearing.
And we will know probably that. we're
We can still
not-
adjust it
if we're
after
not
the
doing it.
public hearing.
Unless something is like
I just
really
got back
drastically
the
different.
text that somebody wants to do on the Founder's Day salmon list for afterwards.
For real.
It was me. I texted her.
All right, item 10, medical and dental insurance. Consideration to approve the benefits section form for our 2025-26 for PEHP as a provider for employees' medical and dental benefits. Laurie?
Budget, the same plans, the PHP, it's a 5.8% increase over last year and a 5.4 increase on the dental. We're not changing, we have no vision, we're keeping the pharmacy plans the same, we have the life and accidental death. Flex they can do long-term disability, we have, so nothing changes, just the fees.
Anybody questions?
I'll actually, after you approve it, this will go out to them tomorrow, and we're having an open enrollment meeting for employees on Thursday.
I'll make a motion that we approve the medical dental insurance benefits for 2025-2026.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Marriott, second by Yuri. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, all voting aye. Item 11, insurance coverage. Discussion of possible action to approve insurance coverage for the fiscal year 2025-2026 with Utah Local Governments Trust. Laurie?
In your packet, I just gave you the whole spreadsheet. Our insurance is actually going down about 10,000 this year because the workers' comp Same insurance, same coverage, PHP that we've had for a while.
Is
So
that
it's-
because of better performance? Is that what it is, or what, why would it
Did you
go
say
down?
PHP?
Oh, sorry.
You
we
tell-
Finished that
you-
one. You tell it, the trust.
Yeah, okay,
The
better.
trust. I know last year Amy was looking into another carrier. But in order to go that way, we would have to really have a lot of ordinances, a lot of different things in place before we could even.
They've been good to us.
Yeah, they're
They
good.
provide training and they've done a good job for us.
Do we get a better insurance rate by having methods to improve our safety or all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, safety programs that get.
So all the stuff you guys are doing is affecting that a lot.
The safety committee, and I know up at Public Works specifically, and Bryce's efforts with the safety.
And they come
efforts
in and
up there.
teach sexual harassment, they can
Mhm.
teach us.
So how do they,
Everybody.
do you have to present that stuff to them, or do they come and see what you're doing? How do they know you're doing the work?
We submitted it
they-
maybe a couple months ago.
Yeah. Yeah, cause
Slides,
what
so
Bryce,
our
what Bryce did was real impressive.
Yeah,
For that.
absolutely.
It's been
Yeah,
good.
I like them because I think they're more proactive than just a insurance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The trust is a lot more proactive to try to hold the costs down because.
Yeah.
So-
Cool.
Well, we get a rebate every year too, don't we? If we, don't we get a
Yeah.
rebate
On safety.
on the safety stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they give it back to us.
Mhm.
So I think they're fair.
Okay,
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the insurance coverage for fiscal year 2025 with Utah Local Governments Trust. 2025-26.
I'll
Second.
second, go ahead.
motion by Marriott, second by Gibson. All in favor, say aye. Gibson,
Oh,
And.
motion carries, all voting aye.
And Gibson.
Item 7, other business. Wait, we're jumping back?
no,
It says 7. Yeah, item 12, which is other business.
How many numbers?
I just follow your agenda, Laurie. All right, Tyson.
We just passed the submittal point with our stormwater audit with the state, and here in about 30 days or so, we'll get an action list. Some of that'll probably come into effect with the budget and some of our processes, and we'll get the recommendations for our MS4 permit and any actions and we have to do to update to meet the new regulations. Some new fees that are required and some code updates, so we'll start digging into those, and that's probably been the biggest item. They're starting the sewer capital project out on Highway 89. You'll start to see notices and the traffic schedules, and as well as the 400 West. We had the pre-con this week, so we'll start putting out info and traffic plans and get ready to tear up all over town to fix quite a few items, so.
Yep, it's got some. Chief Talbot. Chief,
So PD's doing good. We're still down one officer. We've interviewed a few. They're brand new officers. We have 2 brand new ones, so I'm being pretty selective on that. I'd rather try to find a lateral officer to come in here. We're pretty small to have 3 brand new officers. But we're getting some applicants. I don't know if you've seen on our Facebook thing, we're kind of excited. Sergeant Doan got a grant, and we have 300 bike helmets
Yeah,
for kids.
That's awesome.
gotta get those.
Yeah, so it's been kind of fun and exciting. We've had a lot of people stop in and pick them up.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, and I told Robbie yesterday, I said, they are taking up room, so if they're not gone by Founder's Day, I'd like to maybe put a booth or something out somewhere and.
Yeah, that's
We
good.
can-
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
give them out to kids
Yeah.
right
There
next to the parade.
Yeah.
Handing at you.
Yeah, so that's been, so what they do is they come and they get them, and then there's a little pamphlet that goes with them that goes over bike safety and where to ride your bike and how to, and and that, so that's been really good. We've also been, really trying to enforce the motorized scooters and motorcycles and stuff like that. With most of the parents have been pretty good. What I've told our officers to do, we're looking more to educate the people than to, fine them or cite the kids but we're finding a lot of kids 12, 13, 14 out and about on their motorcycles. So what we're doing now is we stop and we call their parents and have the parents come pick them up right then. Some of them haven't been very happy that we did that, but
The parents or the kids?
the parents.
So good.
So, but for the most part,
Why?
we've
What-
just pulled
like,
out.
Why are they not happy?
Well, they're just because none of them really argue that we stopped them or dealt with them. They just say, well, what about all the other kids?
Oh,
We're
we're
like, well,
trying
that's
to
what
get
we're
in.
trying to do.
Yeah.
So,
Well, cause the problem, the problem the police department faces, I see the kids up by my area going 55, 60 miles an hour, so it's a reckless driving
yeah.
ticket. It's not just a speeding, it's not just a unlicensed motorized vehicle, whatever the other ticket is, I don't know what it is. But it's a reckless, I mean, it's a problem.
Crazy.
My son's good friend just got killed yesterday. in a motorcycle accident.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're really cracking down on that
Good.
and we'll continue to do that. I put something in the upcoming newsletter about that. Julie, Officer Rivera, she's putting together kind of a cheat sheet for our officers to use, which just kind of will tell them when the kids can and can't be on them, where they can and can't be on them. And I think we ought to post that on our social media.
Yeah, I'd
Get
love
that
it.
out to people.
And probably
Agreed.
golf carts too.
Yep.
You share that on the police
that a
website,
problem?
I'll share it on.
I don't know that it's a problem. I know my child got pulled over in a golf cart.
Mhm.
He wasn't driving.
Oh,
The
you're right.
officer was great, apparently. But I know that the golf cart thing is,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it's
there's
big.
everybody up,
there's really.
everybody's getting golf.
Yeah,
carts.
one of the worst accidents I've ever handled was on a golf cart.
Oh.
Yeah, up here. Yep.
Yeah.
So, so we're really cracking down on those and hopefully we can get a handle on those. School's about over, school zones, obviously, we've talked a little bit about that. I'll be honest, it's kind of disappointing that we're, 8 days left, 5 days left, I don't know. And we're still seeing speed in the school zones.
Mm.
The mayor and I went and sat in one here a while ago and there's several cars that went through. So I kind of expect, like I said, especially on 2550, I want to make the awareness that you're in a school zone to where if we do get people speeding in there, they know they were in a school zone. We can almost say they meant to speed through there. And then also, I got a couple of the crossing guards doing this last couple of weeks, doing a kind of an evaluation on how many kids they cross in the morning, at night, where they're going. I'm focusing on 900 down here. Not a lot of kids should be crossing to go. I think all the kids below Pleasant View Drive go to
Orchard
Orchard
Springs.
Springs, and we still have a crossing guard there. One of the concerns that's coming up that she just texted me today is that there's like 30 kids that leave school and go to Straw Market. And I don't know that we have an obligation to
Provided crossing guards to go
go to the store, but we don't want anybody hurt either. So I don't know. We'll have to discuss that. And I think we'll discuss that a little more in the next meeting, but other than that, like I said, we're down one and stats are good. Officers are staying busy and safe.
It's awesome. Andrea,
I don't really have anything. I was just gonna let you guys know that I will be reaching out to the city council members and staff to try and get some of those committee meetings that you were having before up and going again.
Laurie?
Yeah, you have a closed meeting. Last time we forgot one, but there is a closed meeting after this one and an RDA meeting. That's it.
Right, Phil?
I think I already updated everybody on the pickleball courts. We've got movement. I'll probably be sending you pictures weekly, daily, something like that, so you can just block me if you want to, okay? Thank you to,
I might. Oh.
thanks to the, city here who's been helping with that process. Like Tyson's in the middle of that audit and we were still, pulling on him pretty hard through there. So thank you so much. Also just want to do a shout out to Cindy and Sarah. I went down to that, youth city council dinner And those guys are doing such a good job running that youth city council, so kudos to them, and they have
Good
a
job.
large band of kids that participate, and Sarah made a video, and like, it was just really, like, it was awesome, so just shout out to them, so,
Yeah.
good job, keep it up.
How's the food?
And the food was good.
Did anybody else go?
I was supposed to, but I had a conflict, so.
Sorry, I was in Palmyra, I think that day. No, no. I don't know. That was Friday night.
Yeah, no, we had it on Saturday.
Oh, okay. But I was in Palmyra. Sure.
Just, yeah, thanks, Sam. We had a really good turnout for the youth city council dinner. It was a lot of fun, and it was great to see these kids get their scholarships tonight, and they've worked really hard. And so we have our first movie in the park, you guys, on Friday, May 30th. And I think Cindy's gonna reach out to you to have a police presence. That always helps. With the kids there.
You know what the movie is yet, sir?
It's The Wild Robot. So, yeah. And so, yeah, May 30th is the first one.
Dave?
I met with Chief Talbot on, going through the, high performing city stuff, and I'd like to get you set up on that schedule with these guys, so. I haven't met with Tyson for a while, so we need to get that going, but that'll be good. And then also, I think I already told you, but we have all the grand marshals all set up, and hopefully we'll have the information to get, is how they're putting together all of the flyer or the,
Yeah,
no,
Newsletter.
the newsletter, that's what.
yeah, we're meeting on Thursday to go over all the stuff on that. We just need the write-ups.
So we can get the write-ups and pictures to you, hopefully.
Get those, do it, 2-on-1 with the picture in there.
Yeah.
Information.
Yeah, so we should have those pretty soon.
I think the deadline, real quick, so we don't miss that, is,
I think it was the 27th, if I remember right, wasn't it 27th?
26th or 27th?
27th by 9 a.m.
So earlier the better. for-
26th,
for
I would
Heather-
cannot be
Heather
done
to
with.
put those together.
We got enough room?
We will, yeah, but the June newsletter, we always, Yeah.
Two pages, or
Yeah.
4 pages.
so we'll have the one page that has all the
Events.
events. On the back of that, we'll have,
You're saying I got.
it's on the, I think it's on the back of the mayor's message that we have the grand marshals and stuff. So.
Okay, that's all I have.
Steve?
I think I'm gonna cancel the May Founder's Day meeting. I just don't think. I mean, I've checked with everybody. I don't wanna have a meeting, just have a meeting. I'd like to have one couple in June, maybe that third week in June, or not, not on the 10th, but maybe that next week or something.
That'd be good.
How do you feel about that? I don't feel like there's anything we need to talk
Yeah, I think
about.
that'd be
really.
good.
Pretty good
We're
at
getting
it
on the
right now.
call tomorrow.
Yeah.
Talk about
I mean, I've checked with everybody, and I haven't talked to you, Tyson, but I mean, you're right on it anyway. Chief, I mean,
First meeting, I got, as part of the police, it's not a long.
Isn't Robbie gonna do that again? So we'll just coordinate.
I
with
just,
Robbie.
so anyway, I think I'm gonna, you should have got a reminder, of that meeting, but
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna cancel it. I don't wanna have a meeting just to waste time, so. We will have one, couple weeks before in June. Just to answer all the questions. That'll maybe be just maybe a little bit longer, something we'll go into a little more detail, but. We good with that?
As long as we have salmon available, that's good.
Yeah.
I did have one person reach out to me saying, "Did you switch the salmon bake date?" And I said, "Why would you think that?" And he said, "Because now you're having another dinner at Shady Lane." And I said, "No, that's the Heritage event." And they said, "So two separate ones at the same park?" And I said, "Yes."
I hope that works out okay. This is gonna be a,
I think it will, but I was just surprised that.
this is gonna be just a change, and I hope that the Heritage will, because it's down here, not up in no man's land, up in Bill's end of the world. He's not even listening.
I hope it-
Hopefully it'll be a little better attended, maybe down here, I don't know.
We need to move
Okay, sounds great.
Well, we might. They're thinking about that.
Are they serious?
Yeah, we got a closed meeting.
Yes, item 13 is closed meeting, consideration of the closed meeting pursuant to, I think this is real estate, is that correct? An entertain motion to go into a closed meeting to discuss.
Motion. Motion to go
Property
into a closed meeting to discuss property acquisition.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, second by Arrington. It'll be a roll call vote. Nelson,
Yes.
Arrington.
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Marriott,
Yes.
and Gibson.
Yes.
Okay.
Stay in here, go over the.
I think we could probably just stay here if she doesn't.